Hello.
Hello, so nice to see you.
Oh, it's so nice to see you. I got a little scared because um I go to log on. It's very windy here, but it's clear and it wasn't hooking in, and I don't know if it's because you were already here or not. So anyway, I figured it out. We're on.
We're good.
Hello.
So it's so nice to meet you. I just discovered you serendipitously on, I think it was Next Level Soul.
Probably.
And I really resonated with you. It just seemed like I've been a transcendental meditator for, what is it, 45 plus years. I started when I was 25, and I'm 71, heading for 72 right now. And I've been to India meditating, and
Oh wow.
recently I discovered uh, this this group, the teachings of Joshua, and they do channeling and things like that. And one of the ladies, Christy, who was just a participant, started channeling kind of spontaneously. And then she started doing light language spontaneously. So when I heard you talking about light language and the different forms of it, it was so intriguing and right up the alley of what I do. I have another friend, Crystal, who does the physical, the movement light language. And when I saw you talking about it and moving, you were doing the exact same movements.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny the way things work.
Yeah,
That
you're telling me.
when you discover something, all of a sudden you see it in different
Good.
places.
That's
Uh,
right.
Not to
When it,
compare us to monkeys, but
no,
you know the thing, 100 monkey
the
syndrome.
hundred monkey. Yep.
Yeah. So it seems it's all very interesting to me, and the world contains so much more than we know, certainly than I know.
Absolutely. Holy cow. My whole perception of reality has completely changed in 2 years. I'm 61. So, I mean, I've lived a long time believing with some pretty basic core understandings of life.
Sure. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, well, heck no, none of that's right.
Yeah. I believe you talked about DNA activations
Yep.
too.
Yep.
And I was just in New York City with Christy and Gary and a few other people, and we were doing DNA activations, and it's very, very powerful. And again, it's like new worlds opening up. Uh, I'm a
Right.
I'm a farm boy from upstate New York. This is behind me is my grandmother's old cupboard cabinet, whatever you want to
That's
call it.
beautiful.
I bought the family farm quite a while ago, a number of years ago. So I don't work the farm, but I have 150 acres. We wanted to keep it in the family. So for a farm boy from upstate New York to be doing all this stuff is so exciting and so
It
fun.
is.
On
It is.
Christmas Day, I'm off to India. We
Oh
have
my gosh, how
we
fabulous.
Yeah, I'm so
Sounds
excited.
like
It'll be my third time there. We have a group of over 10,000 meditators who are going to be meditating. We have a huge facility there. Uh,
wow.
and because the world seems to need good vibrations right now, or at
Right.
least it seems like a good thing to do to
Yeah.
contribute to the good vibrations. We did.
You know what my guides say to me? One of the very first parts of my teaching, and I understand now looking back that it was very, it was like a cornerstone, a building block of understanding. They brought through and they talked to me about the people on the street, people, homeless people. And I'm from a little town in Maine. We don't have many homeless people around. You know, we're too countrified. There's homeless people in the state of Maine, but um, and I had the whole idea of like giving a dollar to somebody and then judging it. Well, it's enabling them. They're probably going to go buy drugs or alcohol. And one of the very first teachings that my guides gave me that just it ripples, it applies to you guys going to meditate. It doesn't matter what the person does with it. It matters the intention behind it. If you're going to meditate and you're going to spread love, that's what you're going to do. If I give a dollar to a homeless person because I want to bless them and let them know somebody sees them, and that, then that's what that's going to do.
Yeah.
And then we can let go of it. The rest of it's in God's hands.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's
It
cool.
kind of takes the intellect out of it and it's just the act of giving. It's funny, we were sitting in a patio. It was beautiful in New York. It was about 55, almost 60 degrees last weekend in New York. And we were sitting outside the hotel in a kind of a courtyard patio, right, looking out on I think it was 32nd Street. Or
Oh
no,
my gosh,
20,
that sounds
27th
like so
Street.
much fun. How do I get invited to that? I want to do
Well,
that.
I will certainly invite you next time. It's wonderful. And a homeless guy came up and said, "Could you help me? I need food." And I walked over and I chatted with him for a minute, and I gave him $10, and I said, kind of offered him a little blessing. And then we went back and we had our conversation and we were talking. And about 10 minutes later, he came back and said, "Excuse me, some kids just stole that $10. Could I?" And I wasn't at all mad. I mean, it was childlike. It was like he was just gonna try, but I
Well,
just felt
it didn't hurt to
there was
try.
something endearing about
Yep.
like a kid who wanted another cookie or, or
Right, right.
something like that.
Isn't that interesting?
It was
Wow.
so yeah, it was kind of just a nice little
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. That's awesome. It sounds like you know more about this stuff than I do. What can I do to help you?
No, I don't. I'm just discovering it. Um, I've had the last bunch of years have been probably a little more difficult for me. I'm not complaining because difficulty sometimes represents real growth. But I had in my going way back to 1988, I entered my Jupiter period. You know about astrological periods and stuff like that.
I
Well,
do not.
okay. Well, Jupiter is a time in your life when things expand and grow, and life is easier and kind of more rewarding.
Okay.
And you have, I think, 16 years of Jupiter, and then you go into Saturn. Saturn is like a strict, no nonsense teacher. The party's over kind of a thing. So I went through that period, and you can actually feel it. You can feel the difference, and it's not that it controls your life. It's more like the seasons. In the summertime, you picnic and you do this and that. And in a Jupiter period, you do certain things. And then in the Saturn period, you just adjust, not in a big way, but your life accordingly. But I had developed a career as a YA writer, and I was winning awards, and my books were being published, and I was
What does YA mean?
young adult. There's my, I don't know if you can see it there.
Oh,
Is that
cool.
backwards or?
No, I can see it. The Trouble with Lemons.
Yep.
Cool.
And so that was my first book, and it opened up throughout my Jupiter period. I had 4 books out. 3 of them were named American Library Association Best Book. One of them was nominated for an Edgar for Best Mystery of the Year. So that was exciting. There was a big award ceremony there. And then when I entered my Jupiter period, things just slowed down. I remember the first 6 weeks, I got 2 traffic tickets, and I had been speeding my whole life.
Me too, hallelujah.
And one of my friends, one of my even longer term meditator friends said to me, Dan, you're in your Saturn period now. You can't get away with the shit you used to get away with. And there was probably some truth to that. But where I am now, I'm just out the other end of my Saturn period. And I'm trying to regain that enthusiasm, that zest that I had. And I still have much more than I had when I was 25. When I was 25, life was heavy and bleak. And I remember waking up in the morning, sitting up in bed, lighting a cigarette and saying, oh, fuck.
I know life is so hard for young people. It is. It is. I get that. I understand that. I was the same way. People say to me things like, "Oh, I'd give anything to be 25 again." I'm like, "Fuck no. I would
No,
not.
not
I wish my boobs were in the same place, but still, I wouldn't go back
yes.
to 25."
Exactly. I wouldn't want to go back there.
No, I like knowing what I know now.
Yeah. In fact, when I went to the Transcendental Meditation lecture when I was 25, in that kind of what I would now consider a dark period, or when I was really in my shadow, the teacher, Dorothy Molyneux, a sweet, sweet lady, no longer with us, she was reading kind of the memorized script. And I hope I wasn't impolite, but I had already read a few books on TM, and I said, yeah, Dorothy, that's good, that's nice. But I already know all the statistics about blood pressure and breathing and everything like that. But how has meditating affected you? And she said, you know, when you're a kid, you wake up in the morning and you're all excited, like, oh, I'm going to build a tree house. We're going to visit grandma. Oh, I can't wait till we got a picnic coming up. She said, somehow over my life, I had lost that. And I would wake up thinking, oh, I've got to bring the kids to soccer practice. Then I've got to go to the store. And then I've got to get dinner. You know, she said, and I realized that I had lost that. And she said, after 5 or 6 years of meditating, I feel that coming back. And I now sit up in bed in the morning with that, a little taste of that sense of adventure. And I said, stop there, I'm in.
Yes.
Because that was all I needed, because I realized that I had lost that. And so that's, I guess my adult life has just been doing all the things that I can to reclaim that. And I have to say that it has worked. I have a YouTube channel, which I hope you'll go to, Kelly.
Oh, I will. What's your YouTube channel called?
Called Adventures with Hayski. My last name Hayes with a K-I in the end. I was a school teacher for 45 plus years.
Adventures with?
With.
H-A, spell your last part.
Hayeski.
I will definitely check it out. That's awesome.
I used to put ski on the end of all the kids' names for some odd reason. I was probably dropped on my head as a baby. So if you were a student of mine, you would have been Kelsky. Or Kelly Ski or Kelsky. I would shorten it to Kelsky. So I just did that without thinking about it for so much that the kids started calling me Hayski. And I was at school for even my mailbox said Hayski, and it was just that's what I was. So the kids talked me into doing a YouTube channel because I was always off during vacations, having adventures, going to India, to the Kumbh Mela and meditating, going to Brazil to visit with John of God, I just loved, I think the meditation helped me recapture that spirit of adventure, of
Oh,
wanting to do it.
that's
And
wonderful.
and my kids, many of them had lives where they didn't get to travel. Most of them had never been on a plane and
Right.
hadn't been too far out of their own neighborhoods. So they would always get me to tell stories about where I had been and what I did. And part of it was to get me out of teaching English.
Of course, sure.
But part of it was they were genuinely interested in that
Yeah.
outside world.
Yeah.
And the world can be pretty intimidating for kids, and to see some in their minds, really
Yeah.
old guy out having adventures and seeing the world and enjoying it
Hmm.
meant something to them. So when I retired, they talked me into, you got to have a YouTube channel. So anyway, they helped me set it up. And
Awesome.
one of my AP students would get on my computer remotely from like 15 miles away, and he
Yeah.
would teach me how to click on this and how to
Yeah.
do this and how to edit that. So anyway, that's how that.
It's a challenge for people our age. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
And what's been cool with me, because I can dial in and talk to the angels with no trouble at all, but I can't figure out how to make a friggin' web page. It's like, okay, but you know what? It's all okay. It happens the way it's supposed to. The day that I finally decided to do a YouTube channel, I had thought about it. I had watched video upon video, because that's the kind of learner that I am. So I'd watch these videos and I'd get overwhelmed and I just would be done. And then I'd get the impulse and I'd watch another video and I'd get overwhelmed and I'd be done. And then just one day, it was like they dropped it into my mind. Let's try to make a YouTube channel. And I'm like, oh, let's give it another shot. And I swear, boom, 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 boom. And there I go. I have a YouTube channel.
You're
And
doing
it
a
was the
great
same
job.
with doing shorts, the little short videos. I
Yeah,
couldn't figure that out until I could.
yeah.
So I know that all things in all time, it's all supposed to happen the way it's
It
supposed to.
is.
And if it doesn't feel fun, I don't do it.
Exactly. Exactly. You're doing a great job. I subscribe to you, and
Oh, thank you.
I look forward to seeing what you're doing. So I guess today, and any ideas that you have or spirit guides have,
I
let
want
me
to talk
know.
about that feeling of awe. I'll talk about that a little bit if you'd like to hear it. Because you said about spending your life after that feeling. My guides call it the night before Christmas. They say they
The
say
most magical time of year for a
the
kid.
magical time. They said, so in my book, in my second book, read Establishing Your Frequency. In that book, they basically, the first two-thirds of that book is giving tips, tricks, and hacks of understanding and ways to consciously and deliberately affect your frequency. Where are you vibrating? Because where we're vibrating is what we're bringing to us. So one of the days they gave me this download, and because they knew me, and because they've been with me forever. Mama used to get, and I'm sure you did too, the Sears and Roebuck Christmas catalog, and I
Bucket
would take,
rewards.
yeah, and I would take that catalog into my bedroom with a pen, and I would circle stuff and dog ear pages and rip pages out,
It was
and
so magical.
it was magical. There was nothing. I didn't know that Santa had a budget. Anything was possible. That feeling of it could be this. But you know what? It might be that. But what if it's that? It could be that.
Yeah,
That is the spice that we want to sprinkle into our life.
exactly.
Because we cannot even begin to fathom what source can put in our path if our frequency is at that level of awe and wonder. I wake up in the morning and I try to remember to say to my inner child, what are we going to do to play today, darling? What are we going to do to play? What magic and miracles will we see today? What 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 magic is just around the corner? I'm a little girl from Lee, Maine, population under 1,000 people, and I've been on Alex Ferrari's show with no effort on my part. It just friggin' magically happened
I
because
remember the story.
because I'm looking around the corner. What's the next cool thing?
Yeah,
And I don't pigeonhole anything. I don't have to do one-to-ones, and I know I'm gonna ride this wave of the Alex thing, and they're gonna go away again. I'm perfectly okay with that because you know what they said to me just recently? They said, "Why do you think?" Because okay, a little bit of backstory. When I got done doing the Alex Ferrari interview, he spent almost a half hour counseling me. So he must have seen something special in me because he spent another half hour with the camera, with the recording off, telling me how to move my business forward. Well, I don't want a business. But he didn't know that. He didn't know that. But as he's talking to me, I have a left brain too. I have an ego as well. And as he's talking to me, my guides are giving me layer after layer of just knowing. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking people would pay thousands of dollars for this advice. But it's not me. That I need to just be open. I need to just be open to what the universe has. But then things will happen and it will grab my brain again. And so, of late, in the last month, I've been, or however many weeks, I've been, all right, I'm gonna make a friggin' website. I'm gonna get a website. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna figure it out because I don't want to spend money on any of this stuff. So I start to do that and I start to feel the weight and the burden of it. And finally, in one of my downloads, my personal time in the morning, they said to me, Kelly, you haven't had to do any work yet. Why do you think that because you've been on the Alex show, you now have to do work? You don't. Let us do our part. You do your part. And I got that, just that beautiful, like I had been pulled up onto the lap of the most wonderful, nurturing person in the world and held in those arms. And they said, you are perfect. Everything is fine. And you are going to be living magic and miracles in. Well, I told Michael the other day we're going for 104. He said, this, forgive me, but he said, Jesus Christ, Kelly, it was just 96 the other day. Now it's 104. I said, well, you never know. I need to be open to these things because I see us growing old and the magic might be a trip into the North Maine woods fishing with my man.
Sure.
And the magic might be that we're on the snow sleds under God's sky and that I'm playing with my puppy dog.
Yeah.
I don't need the magic to be, people knowing who I am and I don't that's lovely. I love connecting with people and sharing and that's why I'm really loving my Tuesday community because that community that I'm doing is it's more like a conversation, like what we're doing really.
Hmm.
And it just feels so good. I love all that. And I'm open to all that. So I'm expecting opportunities for all that to come.
Yeah.
And it's so what I wanted to give to you, it's that energy of expectation and not defining what it looks like. It's in the mornings. Take a minute of your meditation time and just settle into the present moment and then feel that feeling of expectation. What could happen today? I've had days when miraculous things happen. Today might be one of those days. What could happen today that is the magic of life? And
Beautiful.
then be watching for it. And
Yeah.
then you have that awesome serendipity. You have the opportunity to go to wherever it is you're flying off to. And then you're like, what could happen while I'm there? Who might I meet? What kind of experience could I have? You don't know. Don't pigeonhole it. Be open. Just be open.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. And I remember Christmas Eve as being as a little Catholic boy,
Uh,
uh, being the most magical evening, the most magical day of the year. Just that expectation. And I had
yeah,
circled the Montgomery Ward catalog,
yeah,
everything. And that seemed magical to see these kids playing with trains and all this stuff. And the second magical thing that I remember from childhood was reading. I was a good reader. So when I was in first grade, there was a girl on my bus because I lived way out in the country and had to go into Greenwich. We say Greenwich, not Greenwich. We had to go into school in Greenwich. Uh, and she would let me borrow her reader, her third grade reader every day. And when I would read those stories, Mr. Bear builds a house,
Yeah.
and it was so magical that the bus ride was just a beautiful, magical experience. And then I would give her back her book, and the next day we would do it again. And then I would ask her if she had other books. But I still like reading, but I haven't yet uh, gotten back to that magical childhood thing. But it's so helpful, and I'm glad you reminded me, so helpful just to remember it and to remember the magic that was.
So
And without the layers, I'm sure that still is,
it
without the
is.
layers of,
And and I another big thread that my guides are teaching me is about the imagination. They I can't remember what interview it was. It was with the guy that hooked me up with Alex, actually. Trey, I don't know his last name, but his YouTube channel is Your Superior Self. And I did an interview with him, but before that I did a live event with him just for fun and to practice and have a good time. And it was awesome. The energy between us was friggin' awesome. It was the most beautiful exchange. It was the first time that the guides brought through in such a clear way to me around what is worry. Worry is your imagination. And we know, as humans and educated people, we know the effect that worry has on our physical body, on our life. We know those people that are so ugly in themselves all the time. Their life is shit because they're so ugly all the time. So we see that, and everybody's okay with that. But you talk to an adult, and that adult says that I spend time every day riding on my unicorn in amongst the stars, and you, well, she's on friggin' drugs. She's stupid, right? What's the matter with her? I've had people actually. I had a comment. What are you smoking? And I wanted to say fuck you, but I didn't. I said blessings.
I
But
might have said, "What are you smoking? I'd like some."
yeah, well, that
Because
he
I would
wasn't
love to
meaning it
be.
that way. He was being a grump. But um, I don't know why people feel the need to put those kinds of comments, but they do. It's fine. It doesn't bother me. But anyway, so back to the thing. So this sandbox process that I talked about on the Alex thing, that is so powerful because it is our analytical mind grabs onto thoughts and generates thoughts, right? All the time. Never in the present moment, grabs crap from the past, grabs worry from the future, brings it into the present moment, screws up the present moment. That's the job of that ego friggin' brain. When we make the conscious decision that when that thought grabs, as quick as we can grab it without judgment, doesn't matter if it takes 2 days or a month or a minute, you grab that thought, you throw it into your moat. Just in that, I see in my mind, I'm at the top of my castle and I can look down at the yucky green water. I don't know why it's green, but it's green. Murky, yucky with monsters in it that eat up my thoughts that I throw down. So already there's a shift because I'm in my imagination. And then I jump. I fly. I feel myself flying. I feel the air on my face. I had a book when I was a little girl that the princesses all had the cone hats with the feather the uh, you know what I mean, pieces of fabric going behind, whatever they was called. I can feel that pull in my head because I'm a princess and I'm flying. And I go in, and my funnest go to is my unicorns. And I now have a place that I go to in my mind where I can see a beautiful brook over here. Some of them are drinking. I see mommy and daddies and babies over here. And sometimes I go to where my favorite one is standing in the stall and her beautiful, beautiful white neck. And I put my hand on that white neck and I feel the warmth and the silkiness of her hair. And sometimes if I'm particularly in a mood, I'll say, "Can we go for a ride?" And of course she says yes. And I get on her back and we go into the dark night sky. And I look to the side and I see the stars. And sometimes I take my hands and I go whoosh, and I throw rainbow energy everywhere, just whoosh, whoosh. You can't be in that space very long without your energy coming up. And that's the object of the game, to get that awe and that wonder. That's the awe and the wonder. How far can I fly on my unicorn? How many people, sometimes the guides will just, I don't know what's real and what's imaginary. I don't know what actual power, but I have the intention. I will get the impulse and I'll be driving down the road and I start pretending that I'm magic. For me, it's got to do with color and light. And I'll take my hand and I'll go whoosh, and I see the energy going off my hand, off my fingertips. And it's like I'm throwing blessings to whoever catches them. And I just whoosh, like I'm just some kind of magical being, because I am a magical being. And I can do that. And if it does nothing than raise my vibration, so be it. But I don't believe that's true. I believe there is magic riding my intention as I throw my energy and my power towards a house when I'm driving by it. And I picture the magic pixie dust floating down on the people.
Ah,
It's like whoosh, whoosh. And
beautiful.
it's fun.
Well,
And it is that wonder and that awe.
yeah. And I love that you're making it fun, because I feel like I've never been a good visualizer. You know, when you have those guided meditations, you're sitting under a tree by a
Yeah, yeah.
beautiful brook. I've never been good at that. I try to do it. Um, but the idea of just when you're driving, just to me, that would be easier. Uh, and
Daniel, paint the picture with words. You're a wordsmith.
yes, I'm better, much better with words.
So let the words go. The pixie dust is red and green and blue. I see it sparkling as it goes through their roof, down through their ceiling, landing in their hair, brushing against their cheek, and they turn their face, wondering who's there. They feel that feeling. You can, it's imagination. It's
Yeah.
imagination.
Oh, I'm
And
loving this.
use the words. You don't have to picture it. Paint it with words.
And I think, when you get into a belief that I'm not good at or
Right.
something like that, that's an
Right.
impediment right there.
Exactly.
Um, but when I'm sitting there in the guided meditations and I'm trying to picture the ocean or the brook or something, that's hard for me. But what you're describing is better, just spontaneously and using more words uh,
Yes.
like that. So this is wonderful. Do your guides, or do you have any advice? I was told by somebody who's pretty good at this that I'm going to my energy guy in Saratoga this afternoon, and he used to always tell me, "Oh my God, what you've got energy!" Woo. He used to, and it was kind of a nice feeling, a kind of a nice validation that.
You do have very nice energy.
Oh, thank you. Um, the last thing I did with a friend of mine, Christy, she is very intuitive, and she said my sacral chakra and my throat chakra were very small and not spinning very well. And it kind of resonated. I mean, it kind of resonated with me because, especially the last year, I feel like I have shut down a little bit. I'm not complaining. My life is still pretty rich and pretty nice, but all this talk about going back to childhood and enthusiasm or something is really resonating with me. Um, I guess I'm asking, should I consciously do things to open those chakras and energize them, or should I just be out in the world and play,
Oh,
or both?
yes and yes. So let me. Okay, we're gonna shift. We're gonna bring in the guides here in just a second. Um, I'm gonna just remind you, and you can go back and watch it again. Alex asked my guides if you had one. It was something to the effect of, if you had one piece of advice before you leave to give humanity, what would you give them? And they said, create the relationship with your energy system. It's about your chakra system, and it's about tending to your chakra system. In my second book, the angel team of the chakra system came in, and each chakra system has its own angel. And they came in, each built on the last one, and basically they gave a process. What I think we should do is, I'm going to shift. I'm going to bring through some light language. I'm going to bring the guides through, and whatever it is you need to clean out, and they may give you instructions. They may say tap here, they might say take a breath, whatever. I'm going to be just getting out of the way. Let's do some energy work together. Want to? Yay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
I'm
all
going to
excited.
I'm go- Do you have anything last, because I'm going to mute you and then go into my thing.
No,
You can unmute yourself at any time. This is your time. So if you want to interrupt me, you can. But I'm going to just give it over to the guides and see what they do. All right. Oh, let's just take a couple of breaths. We have beautiful energy together. I'm going to take a beautiful breath into my heart and send my heart energy to you. And let's take another breath into our hearts and send the energy up. Take another breath and connect to Mother Earth. They are saying to me to say my steps. I'm going to say them, but then we're going to go fairly quick so that you have them on the recording. You surround your energy, which means you lock up your energy system. You fill your bubble with the beautiful pink, white, silver light that's the love of the universe. You ground your energy to Mother Earth, strong and fiercely, many, many, many cords down to her center, to her heart. You protect by putting a breastplate and a back plate on and cosmically sealing it along the sides for protection. You balance your energy by taking a couple sacred breaths. And you see, when we do the balancing, you see that sacred circuit of energy that they've shown me. The sacred circuit where the energy travels in the figure 8 all up and down through your energy system. And as that energy travels, it takes away, it releases, and then it picks up the codes and the frequencies that are needed for that energy system all along. Picture a 3D, every direction, these beautiful, beautiful sacred circuits are traveling. And when we balance, we take a breath, and when we put out the breath with our intention, we are asking both ends of the loop to be equal. Because some people are more from their heart up, and some people live more from their heart down. So let's take a breath and balance. The next step is to cleanse. We ask Angel Ariel to bring her giant water, giant rain trough above our heads, just flowing water down over like we're under a waterfall, washing, 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 washing anything that no longer serves us out of our energy system. And then we reach in this moment across all timelines, incarnations, realms, and dimensions. We reach for all of our own energy, for all time is now. All moments are this moment, and we reach to bring all the energy that is ours back to our higher selves, back to our center for our highest good. We ask for nothing but love and light, and for this to be a blessing for our expansion. Aziara kia tarakoma niki katarokoma tira kata ora kani karakoma. Ari tazi kiara koto oro koro komana kia kara koto toro komana. Aziare kiara katara koro mana kia na kiara o sikata. Isa karakotoro ko, moving the energy down through your chakra system, balancing and blessing and attuning all aspects of your chakra system. Ariara moria nani atira azakoto orina kata. Ariatara yazo moro oro koto shikira kataraka. Ari kiara kata. Azikiara kumanana. I think Angel Celestina is going to come in. Asi kiara con no koro mata. Tap yourself gently, dear one, on your throat. Yes, dear ones, it is I, Angel Celestino, who is the angel of the word, the angel of the spoken word, the angel of the written word, the angel of the thought word. It is I who gives you the guidance that you seek when you go to speak. And you have a wonderful usage and relationship with words, dear one. Do not ever compare it to anything else as being less than. Your words are indeed your paintbrush. Asiara kotora katata kiara kata. Azikiara kiana kioro kototoro komana ki. Take a breath in. Asking all that no longer serves to go into the tone and go into Mother Earth. Something within your heart, dear one, can be released. Ask any memory, anything that is within your heart that no longer serves you, with your intention, send it on the tone to Mother Earth. Rikiara kotoro matikiana kira kosor kata. See the green over the yellow, over the orange, over the red as it travels to Mother Earth. Taking down all the last bits of whatever needs to be released. We ask for the balance and the blessing of the chakra system. We see the green holding the light blue, holding the indigo, holding the violet as it travels to the cosmos. Azir, katar kotor kota. And we know the sacred breath of the heart. Connects us to all. Take another breath. Haria kururia kona, hariainika o manazia to. Oh, haria, hariano koa, ia ia hu, hai aru. Hai, hai, hari karomana, hari, hari akumo. Hariani kamono no aya nikia zia kaya mato kayani. Asiki kainya no koya kia nai kama otoyama. You are so very seen, dear one. You are so very seen in this moment. The perfection that is you. The perfection that is you. Do you hear those words, dear one? Do they land within your heart? There are no judgments. There are no judgments, dear one. The only moment is now, and the perfection that is you shines across the crystalline grid, shines across the all with great love and appreciation. Ariaramoto tikata arakomati, hatikiara katato oromati natakia nakoto totosiki. Arikiara komati rakatarakomazika arakototorokomanati. We are your guides, dear one. This one is realizing the change in the energy. And we would have you know of your perfection. We would have you hear the words and embed them within your heart, rehearsing them daily. The perfection that is you, the love that is shined upon you, always, without judgment, dear one, releasing all judgment. Well, that was different. Oh my goodness. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Holy moly, moly. Whew.
That was sweet.
That, so your guide came in. I'm in my head going, okay, who is this? This is new. I'm saying this. Kelly Head is saying this inside. And my guides are saying, it's okay, let it go. And well, unique enough that I whacked myself in the nose doing the sign language. I've never hit myself doing sign language, but my hands were doing all this weird stuff, and I whacked myself in the nose, and I thought, well, that's because that guide is new to me. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, all right.
Have you connected with your own guides?
Well, my friend Christy has told me about my guides and who they are. And it was interesting because when she channels, she doesn't know these names. One of my guides, what I forget the name, but it was a Japanese water god. They have little statues at fountains and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and she said, I'm seeing blue and swirling water and this and that. And I had to look it up afterwards. And then I let her know what I discovered. And that was true of my different guides, that one of them was Voltaire, the famous writer
Oh, cool.
Voltaire,
Yeah. Yeah.
who has kind of my sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I went back and reread Candide, but he was giving clues as to who he was. And Christy didn't know much about Voltaire, but she said he did in his lifetime. He spent a little time in prison, and he was arrested for being satirical about religious figures and
Interesting.
noblemen. And so,
Interesting.
uh, but yeah, I don't feel that I'm terribly good at connecting with them, but this is new for me, and I'm just experimenting with who they are and feeling their energy. One of them, called Layla, said that my mineral to connect with her would be alabaster. So I got, when I was in Venice Beach last spring, I got an alabaster pyramid and put it on my little
Oh,
altar.
nice.
So I'm having fun with this.
Oh, yes.
But as I,
Those, I used to not think that all that stuff mattered, but my guides have said that it does. That there are, I used to think like rocks and minerals and all that bullshit was crap. I was like, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
or color. I didn't give any credence to
yeah,
color at all. Well, and I didn't do anything with the chakra system. Well, when you have nine angels come whack you upside the head and say, guess what, girlfriend? The chakras matter and you need to learn, you figure it out. But I wanted to tell you something that was unique to your thing, and I'm sure when you compare it to others on my YouTube channel, my mouth wanted to find the word showerhead because they almost always use the word showerhead, and I can't get the word out. And you're going to see that there's a little bit of a, it isn't a conscious thing. It's like, but the word isn't coming until they finally said waterfall. I've never had them say waterfall. It's always, like I've said fire hoses, I've said, I don't believe I've ever said waterfall, but I could almost, it wasn't even a waterfall. I could see like a wooden trough, and I did use the word trough, which I've never used that term. I could almost see like a wooden spigot or a thing over our heads, bringing this beautiful clarification. I don't know if that's significant to you or not, but that was different for me. It was definitely
yeah.
different.
No,
Yeah,
I think it's beautiful.
it's so
Years
cool.
ago, when I was in Brazil with John of God, they have a sacred waterfall there, and you go under it, and it almost knocks you over. But
Wow.
it's such a wonderful thing. And I always thought whether this is symbolic or whether it's more than symbolic,
Oh no,
it's pretty
the
cool.
the cleansing, none of that is symbolic. It's real shit. It is real. The balancing, this all is brand new. Them moving my hands like this, and when I'm doing that, I'm seeing like a representation of like a galaxy. You know how a galaxy looks like a spiral,
Mhm.
and all the sparkling stuff. I see the galaxy move in one direction, and then I see it move in the other, and it's almost like what it feels like to me is it's like a rebooting. It's almost like turning your computer off and turning it back on again. We're working
Mhm.
with your energy. There was I it could be something that would be across dimensions, but I'm going to just share with you that I got a feeling of something that might be holding you back around self-judgment. I don't know. Maybe it's across dimensions because they had me reach across dimensions too. And all time is now, so it might not be this incarnation. But if there is something they really zoned in on your heart. Oh my God, an angel Celestina never comes out to play. And she wanted to speak. She wanted to validate you in your beautiful use of words. I want you to know how unique that is. She
Oh,
doesn't come out very often. And as I was going along, I'm like, I knew the toning was going to happen. I can always feel that there's a preparation feeling in my body when tones are going to happen. I also almost never sing. Almost never. That is an extra blessing. When they bring through the song, that is an extra special blessing. So they really brought through the whole gamut for you.
Uh,
It was
it
cool.
was beautiful.
It was very cool. So maybe ask yourself, and if you don't have a personal, most of us have something that we're carrying.
No, I
Mine.
do.
Okay, they felt that, and they kept saying the word judgment, and also when your guide comes through, when you listen back to this, I want you to really, there's a point when I hope that you're able to hear the shift. And well, actually, I think I say out loud that this is your guide because I knew it was something different. And the energy that guide wanted to instill on you was your perfection. Almost like you are not seeing yourself through the lens of source. You are seeing yourself through this particular judgment, and it's time to let it go.
Mm,
That's going to be the key to the this that you're wanting, is when you and realize they don't keep score, that all time is now.
yeah.
And one of the greatest knowings that I finally can say that I do own is, and it's a hard one, and it was hard learned for me. I can tell you there was many tears and shaking of fists and railings. I screamed at him one day, "You treat us like we're fucking bugs in a petri dish." I yelled that at my guides. Tears running. "I can't believe this crap. You treat us like blah, blah, blah." But the knowing is there is no good and bad. It's all the same. There is no right and wrong. There is no wrong path. There is no judgment. From their perspective, it's experience. It's experience. And so there is no experience that's worse than another from their perspective. And there's no emotion that is going to be attached to anything that is wrong. That we get to feel our anger, we get to feel rage, we get to feel sad and depressed. They showed me this is the teaching for Kelly this week. Was they gave me a download and they said, and this was new. Oh, everything, every day, something's new. But they said they had shown me. I asked them the question once. I asked them, why has my journey been so fast? I went from I'm 2 years, like January 11th, I think. 2 years ago is the first time I channeled my guides. A lot has happened in 2 years. Holy cow, it's been really, really fast. And they showed me myself when I was a child praying, and that I used to pray in the language that I understood. I prayed to God through Jesus. I would hold a cross. La Cruz is the first name that they gave me for my guides, and it represents the cross. I would hold that cross and I would feel the love. I would feel God's love for me. And I was so alone and I was so lonely and I was so afraid. And I felt the safety of Jesus's arms around me. And I knew I was seen. I knew I was loved. That Holy Spirit moved in my heart. And they showed me that it doesn't matter whether you're a Buddhist, you're an atheist, you're whatever. If you're looking at nature and you have that beautiful, expansive, oh, I just love. I don't have to have I love whatever. I am love. I am love in this world. I am love. I am love. And that would just flow through me. And they showed me in this download two big hands doing this, creating shards of energy. They said, this is the creative process. This is how the universe expands. When we feel those feelings of connection, it creates that energy, and that energy goes into the crystalline grid. The crystalline grid crosses dimensions, timelines, incarnations, and realms, and connects us all. Well, this week, so it took me time to own that and to understand that. This week they gave me when Source decides to come down into a human form, which is you and I, it's because of the things we can experience on this earth. Emotions are a whole cadre of, it's like the colored crayons, that's what the emotions are, is to create all of the different kinds of experiences. But humans have put judgment on everything on this end of the continuum: sadness, grief, anger, rage, anxiety, fear. We've deemed those as not appropriate. We've deemed those as we need to rise above having those. Well, just this week my guides gave me a download and they showed me experiencing rage, because I'm a good little Christian girl. I was raised a good little Baptist girl, and you don't get angry. You're making Jesus cry when you get angry. And I'm also a pretty fiery individual. I'm a passionate individual. So I've battled that my whole life. And the guilt, because I did get mad. And it just happened, it happened on an airplane coming home from my trip. Something made me mad. I got that well of anger, immediately followed by the guilt and the judgment. If you were a good Christian, not a good Christian now, but I'd say some spiritual teacher you are, you get angry over something so stupid. And it was like right in that second, I got hit with the pixie dust. And I'm like, and so when I got home, I went into meditation and I said, I need more. You got to help me to understand this, because I don't get it. And they showed me in that moment, when we experience an emotion, any emotion, and we just be it, and we love ourselves through it, because love is not the continuum of emotion. Love is the universal fabric, right? All the other stuff is the human stuff. When we can love Kelly when she's angry, when we can love her when she's in grief, when we can love her when she's pissed and railing and bitchy, we are creating those shards of energy. It isn't the love, it's the feeling the emotion without suppressing it. They said it's when humans try to suppress what they're feeling, the shards of energy, they don't get created. But when we just be fucking angry and let ourselves revel in being anger, dance in the anger, be pissed in the anger, let ourselves feel the anger. And so of course in my head I go, but I don't want to be angry all the time. And they said, you have this Kelly and you have this Kelly. This is the higher self Kelly. This is the neutral, fifth dimension, higher self, adult self, whatever you want to call it, Kelly. And then you got Kelly that has all of the programmings and the subconscious programmings of childhood and all of the shit that I've carried for 61 years. You got that Kelly too. When this Kelly is feeling all of those emotions, you can shift and you can just love her and you can nurture her and you can give her what she needs. It might just be a drink of water so she's got the energy to swear some more, and that's okay. It's not about helping her to get over the emotion. It's about helping her to feel it. And as we feel those human emotions, we are creating and expanding our universe. That is the work of being human. It's why we came forward. And we've spent, most of our lives jamming down the whole 50% of the emotional continuum, thinking that it's wrong and that we're not being good because we want to be good. Thoughts on that?
That's
That's just a
amazing.
little that's just a little aside, something to think about it, while you have your coffee.
Well, I've always been considered really easygoing. Like at my school, people would tease me that nothing upset me. And I always thought that was just my nature, but I think now that a lot of that was kind of a repression. And in the last couple of years, and I have to laugh at myself, I've developed almost a kind of Tourette's, where if I turn and knock over a glass of water or something, spontaneously I go, I'm swearing. And then I laugh at myself because I say, I'm carrying on like a nut over a little thing like that, but it happens regularly. And I think I'm
Oh my
still
God, I love this. I love
I
this. Keep
think
going.
I'm still a little repressed because it never happens in public. It
Right,
never, at an
right.
airport, if I spilled something, I wouldn't say, fucking shit.
Yeah. Oh my
But
God.
when I'm alone, it happens so regularly.
Because you've got 70 years of suppressed grump that's ready to come out. Last summer, last summer, I have a beautiful party boat. Beautiful, beautiful. Expensive. My husband bought me this gorgeous party boat. We try to keep things nice, right? You know, I mean, people do. You work hard for your money.
Yeah.
We're out on the lake, and I'll make this short, but these drunk women in a boat, being funny, started lobbing. Their first it was, "You want some jello shots?" So my husband goes to the front of the boat. He's going to catch these jello shots. Well, Drunky McDrunk behind the front one starts grabbing the jello shots that aren't solid yet. And she thinks she's being sweet. She starts winding green and red and orange bombs at my boat. Splash, 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 food color. And I'm thinking, oh my God, it's going to stain my boat. I saw red. I bellowed like a friggin' fishwife. Enough! Get the fuck away from my boat! I don't even think I think I just hollered enough, but in my head I was saying get away. I don't think I did. I think I said, enough, stop, they are breaking all over my boat. And they just was like, oh, they knew, and they just turned. Well, I'd be up on myself for weeks about getting so angry over something so small. How could I get so angry? That was the beginning of my journey that they were bringing me to. And you're on the same journey, my friend. They're
Yeah.
bringing us to the knowing that none of our emotions are wrong. And we've lived our life saying it's okay to be giddy and happy. Miss Kelly, easygoing Kelly. But Kelly stuffed and stuffed and stuffed because I was a good Christian girl and I wouldn't let anything upset me because I shined the light of Jesus through my face.
Yeah. No, I'm there.
Well, now I get pissed off.
It,
And it feels fabulous.
it does. There's something kind of fun about it.
I needed to make peace with it. And this was this, I'm sure there'll be more layers too, but I needed to make peace with it because I still follow it immediately with that. Well, what kind of spiritual mentor are you?
Yeah,
Judgment, self judgment.
sure.
And then they gave me that last download, and I'm telling you what, that's going to come into my teaching now because this is what we have to be, all of what we are, to be our perfect expressed self.
Yes. Yeah. I love
God
it.
did not make mistakes.
It's
We
beautiful.
are, yeah, we are, and we're perfect. So whatever it is that you're holding down in there that you're judging yourself about, know that it is seen completely and loved completely.
And then I have
And
to
that
do the same.
you can, that it's okay that they are inviting you. There's no have tos, there's no shoulds. Picture a beautiful angel doing this
Uh,
with just love. And all it is an invitation. No judgment if you
I
stay in
like
it.
that.
No judgment if you hold it until the day you die. No judgment, just an invitation because they want you to fly with your angel wings, babe. They want you to fly.
That's so cool.
Mm.
So we concentrated, I think I'll listen to it again more on the throat chakra, but maybe that's the opening that will also
Well, you said sacral. Where's sacral? Is
that's
is
as I
that your
understand
gut?
it, that's there's the base chakra and sacral
Oh,
is the second one up.
is the orange one. They because they did a lot on your heart. But once they did that, you'll watch it. Once they did that, stuff started to move. You'll see me kind of be specific with my they it's I feel like it's almost like I have like some kind of a laser that my hands are doing all kinds of weird stuff, and it feels like it's working on the person. But they know I didn't have any, they did what they did.
Yeah,
It was, yeah.
yeah, it was very beautiful.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thanks so
Well, it's
much.
been such a pleasure.
I have
It has
loved
been a
this.
pleasure to you. I have too. I have too. If you ever can join the Tuesday group, did I tell you about the Tuesday group? You know
Well,
about that.
you reminded me, and I had forgotten about that.
Yep.
But I would
It,
love to, when I
um,
can, to
yep.
to do that because it would be
Yeah.
so good to.
It's nine. It's going to be 9:30s, and anyone who signs up for it will automatically get the recording too. So even if you can't be there, but you want
Oh,
the recording will come to you if you. Yep.
that's great.
And
That's
I'll add you to my tribe email list. So when I do impromptu things, and I've only done it once, but it was great fun. I sent out an email and said, "I'm going to meditate in an hour and a half. Here's the link. If anyone's available, jump on." And we
oh
just had,
beautiful,
yep, we just had a conversation and a meditation. It was great fun.
beautiful. I'm going to
Yep.
try to bring one of your books with me to India.
Oh,
It would be
that would be
such a
so
fun.
cool.
That would be such a fun,
You know,
fun
something
thing.
that I dream of, one of my sandboxes, is to be walking around a pool, because Mike and I always go to places that are warm, to be walking around the beach or walking around a pool and see one of my books beside somebody
Yes.
and walk up to him and say, "Oh, what you reading?" I
No,
think that
I
would be
have the
so
same.
fun.
I used to sneak into bookstores uh, and get all excited when I would see my books on the shelf.
That's
It was
cool.
like a
That's
guilty
cool.
pleasure, but it was
Yeah,
just fun.
I I loved the writing it, but I on Amazon, because I just self-publish, so I mean it hasn't been a great big splash, but it's done some in the last month for sure. But the cool thing is I think I've sold maybe 600 books or 650 books, not a lot, but they're all over the world. They're
Yes.
all over the world.
Oh,
They're in
it's so exciting.
Germany, they're in Scotland, and I think that there's a part of me that's all over the
Yeah.
world. I love that. I just
Yeah,
love
I
it.
feel that way about my books,
Yep.
and I feel that way about my YouTube channel. And I'm just an amateur YouTube guy.
Oh, me too.
But the idea that people are traveling with me when I
Yep.
am filming here or
Mm,
doing this or that, there's a group of people who are coming along with me
right.
vicariously because I love it
Exactly.
when I watch other people traveling and I
Yep.
just
Yep.
relax and watch them.
When because all time is now, our guides know everyone who's ever going to see anything we ever post. And so there's an energy to that. And that's why it, I guess it's a validation to the fact that you feel like you're talking to friends when you're explaining and you're doing and you're talking to friends, because you are, because
Yeah,
all time is now. All time
yeah,
is now. So in that moment that you're saying, "Oh, look, this is the most beautiful thing, and I want you to enjoy seeing this," there are people that are going to hear that.
yeah.
And it's just so cool. It's just
Oh,
so cool. I love it. It has been a pleasure to meet you. And one
it's
of
been
these
a
days,
joy.
send me an email and invite me to meet you guys in New York. I would think that would be friggin' awesome.
Yes, that would be fun. And also, I have a big two-family house here, and one side of the house is empty, and it's just the guest house. So if you're ever around Albany, Saratoga,
Oh,
please
wow.
let me know. And
Oh,
Saratoga is
my God.
beautiful in the summertime. Just
Oh, that would be
you and your
awesome.
husband, whoever, just come and
Yay.
stay. It'll be your vacation
Oh my
house.
God, that sounds wonderful. Well, we definitely need to keep in touch, because I don't know about you, but I have a definite feeling like we've known each other for eternity.
Exactly.
I don't always feel that way, but I
I had
do.
that from the first time I saw you. I knew that I was going to try to find a way to
Yeah,
uh, get
yeah,
in touch with you, and now it's just
yeah.
stronger than ever.
All righty, my friend. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks
We
so
will
much, Kelly. We'll talk soon, I hope.
keep in touch.
I'll
Keep in
see you
touch.
on YouTube.
All righty, dear. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye now.